Okay, let's have a look at this one. Provide a reasonable estimate of the cost of capital that Tisa should be used to calculate the net present value of the two processes. Include all relevant calculations. This is a cost of capital question. Got it? Okay. Calculate the IRR and MIRR for process omega. Given that IRR and MIRR for process zeta is 26.6 and 23.3 respectively, recommend which process, if any, Tisa should proceed with, and explain your recommendation. Then C. Alpha had estimated the annual standard deviation of 800,000 for one of the other projects based on a normal distribution of return. The average annual return for this project is 2.2 million. Estimate the value at risk at 99%. The examiner tells you what's the level that you want. Okay, when they don't tell you, you're kind of given flexibility like what to use. You want to use 95, 99, just put it in. Just say your number out. Okay. Here they tell you already, so you calculate based on 99 for 1 year and over the project life of 5 years. Explain what is meant by the answer. So you have to interpret. Apart from use of VAR, briefly explain methods Alpha could use to deal with risk, uncertainty in investment appraisal and their drawbacks. Now this is a standard question from your current examiner. Okay, so your examiner writes like this. Okay. Now have a go of the question first, see whether you can see what you can do. Now you know there's a cost of capital calculation. Okay. You know there is a MIRR calculation, yes or not, and an IRR calculation, which means you need to know the cash flows and all that. And you can do part B without really doing part A, isn't it? But you need part A, the cost of capital, to get to fit it in, yes or not? Let's say you don't know and you mess up your part A, but whatever number you get, you plug into part B, you get full marks. Remember that rule, So always break it by component. You just follow like this component, do wrong also, just make sure you label your answer there, take the number, move down, you get full marks. Okay, remember that rule, So don't give up just because you feel like the first part you messed up already. The rule of the question is, you messed up the first part, never mind, just lock in an answer and then move on. Got it? Okay. Have a read of the question first. Calculation. You see cost of capital, you must use some. The WACC formula, right? Beta formula is correct. how you calculate it. Okay, let me go through this video, see whether you've done anything correctly or not. Okay, now let's look at this part. If you look at this one, let's look at this. Tisa is considering opportunity to produce innovative component with fitted into motor vehicles, and this will enable them to utilize fuel more efficiently. Component can be manufactured using either process Omega or process Zeta. Although this is an entirely new, okay, the word entirely new should tell you something. What does that tell you? Although it's entirely new line of business for Tisa. Okay, let's get that down. This means it's definitely new risk. Okay, so that means you can put there new risk inside. This is a new risk area. Okay, so that's a new risk area. Okay, got it? Clear, not clear? Okay, so if it's a new risk area, you are supposed to use what? What are you supposed to use? New risk area. Use different rates. Does that make sense? Clear? Okay. That means you can't use the original cost of capital. You're supposed to adjust the cost of capital to the new risk. It's a new business area. Got it? Okay. It is the opinion that developing either process over the 4-year period and then selling the production rights at the end of the 4-year to another company may prove lucrative. The annual after-tax cash flow for each process has been given here. So you got Omega and Zeta. They've given the cash flow here. Okay, now Tisa has 10,050,000 share trading at 180 cents each. The loans are currently at 3.6 million, average after-tax cost of debt of 4.5. Now, Tisa's capital structure is unlikely to change significantly following the investment in the process. So you could calculate the company's cost of capital using this, yes or no? Clear? Okay. So here, Alpha. This part here, that means it's quite important for you to do what? This part here is for you to use it for a cost of capital calculation, correct? Put it one side. Alpha manufactures electronic parts for car, including production components similar to the one being considered with Tisa. Alpha equity beta is given, so you know this number is kind of quite critical. Okay. It is estimated that the equity beta for other activities, excluding component production, is 1.25. Alpha has 400 million. Now you got to be careful here. This is a bit tricky because the examiner has kind of given you 2 equity beta, correct? It says here, production of component or similar is 1.4 and its estimated equivalent equity beta of other activities, excluding the component production, is 1.25. Kind of means that the component production is slightly higher risk. Are you clear now? Why the beta is higher? Higher beta means higher risk, correct? Okay. Alpha has a loan, has 400 million, 25 shares. Its debt finance consists of variable rate. Now, since they have given you variable debt financing, you need to make a simple assumption. What are you going to say? Debt beta is assumed to be 0. You need to say that. Okay? If you don't say that, then you got a problem. Alright? You need to say debt beta is assumed to be 0. Are we clear or not clear? Got it? Alpha has debt finance of 7 and so it can be assumed 80% of Alpha company's debt finance and 75% of Alpha's company equity can be attributable to other activities, excluding component production. So this is where the examiner is trying to mess you up by asking you to figure out the component one. Okay? Both companies pay an annual corporation tax of 25%. Current base rate is 3.5%, and the market risk premium is estimated at 5.8. Okay. Provide reasoned estimate of cost of capital. Now the word here is provide a reasoned estimate. Meaning you must give a reasoning for your answer. You cannot just simply calculate. Okay? This word provide reason is a very important word. Okay? Yes. The cost of capital will be calculated. Include all relevant calculation. Okay, now let's just get the cost of capital calculated. After that you have to calculate the IRR and MIRR, correct? So let's do Tisa now. Tisa. Okay, your approach, part A, approach to obtain cost of capital. Cost of capital will be based on use ALFU to estimate the component project asset data, and then use Tisa capital structure to estimate the project equity beta. Does it make sense? It will be assumed that debt has zero. If you didn't write this, you're going to lose marks, right? It's easy marks. Are you clear now? Follow, don't follow? Okay, do you know what's the meaning of reason? Now, the examiner say the word reason, you have to write down the approach. Got it? So, use ALFU to estimate project asset beta. Now, let's figure out ALFU right now. Huh? Got it? So, here, what's going on with this company? ALFU, let's calculate ALFU market value for equity. What do you get? Market value for equity is how much? Well, how many shares? Well, you're given already the number. The number is about ALFU has 400 million shares, yes or no? 25-cent share at $1.20 each. So it's going to be $1.20 times 400 million, yes or no? Equals to 480. Got it? Next one. The debt was given to you, how much? It's 96. Okay, you're done. Clear? Okay. The next one, you're going to calculate the asset beta. Did you calculate the asset beta? Yes, no? Asset beta. It's going to be 1.4. Equity beta is 1.4. Times 480 divided by 480 plus 96 times 0.75. Right, can you get that? Did you get that? This is going to be 1 point. Was given as what? Other activities was 1.25 times, well, how many percent? This is where you need to be careful a bit. It's 75% of ALFU's equity finance is attributable to other equity. So, first of all, you better find out the equity attributable to other activities, okay? Are you clear? Can, cannot? Clear? Not clear? So now it's going to be 1.25, 360 divide by 360. Well, we're going to assume something here. What are you going to assume? Is it assume that also 75% of debt is for others. So here we're going to put 96 times 0.75. Did you get it? Oh, sorry, 80%. Is it already 80%, right? I don't need to assume, given already. Debt for other activity was 96 times 80%. Okay, ah? Follow, don't follow? Okay, this is where the examiner was messing around with the students. How many students could figure this out? Okay, so right now you could get this plus 76.8 times 0.75. Okay, can you get this number? Got it? Can? This is where we're going to go. Alpha asset beta equals the component asset beta plus the other activity asset beta. Does that make sense to you? Yes, no? You know the alpha asset beta is 1.217, correct? Equals component beta times 0.25 plus 1.077. Let's say it's 1.078 times 0. So component beta is going to be how much? Get it? Yes, no? That was the complicated calculation for getting the asset beta. Make sense? We call it componentization of the asset beta. You have to work out the specific components of asset beta. Got it? How much is this? How much you get? 1.634. Well, it's supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken, 1.217 minus 1.078 times 0.75. .634. Yes, no? Okay. Are we okay then? Yes, no? Can? Why do I follow the equity one? Because remember we said the asset beta was 0. The debt beta was 0. We already made the assumption that debt beta was 0, remember? So debt percentage doesn't really affect you. Yes or no? We made an assumption up here. That allows you to use this. Okay. Are you clear now? You didn't make the assumption, you're confused already. You get like, how? Now you understand how the assumption helps you solve the problem. So they say you make assumptions to help you solve problem. You don't need to force yourself to make it easier. You're clear, not clear? Because that beta is 0, you don't take into account already. Then you only take the 0.25. Because that was 0.2 and 0.8, remember? Okay. Can I move on? Okay. So now you got this. Can you calculate the cost of capital now? Now you have to upgrade. Now you already got the component beta already, right? The component beta you have to now upgrade to Tisa's cost of or capital structure. So the capital structure is going to be how? Well, you're going to 1.634 times $18 million plus 3.6 million times 0.75 over 80. I wonder where can I get a beta symbol? Are you done? Finish? How much is the cost of capital? RM minus RF times beta. So what do you get? Here's going to be 3.5%. So KE is going to be 3.5 plus RM minus RF was how much? 5 point? 8 times 1.879 equals, you should get about 14.3982. Let's call that 14.4%. Okay, are we clear, sir? Got it? So once you got that, can you calculate WACC? Can? Okay, done. That's the answer. 8. How many marks you got there? 8 marks. Okay. Did you know how to do this? Yes, no? Well, you're learning the formulas, aren't you? The idea of doing these questions is to make sure you know how to use the formulas properly. Correct? And sometimes you need to be flexible with the formula if the examiner was to give you components like this. Component based calculation, are you okay now? He can give you 3 or 4 components so you can work it out. Are you okay now? Conceptually, you understand now? You have to break it and work it one by one. Follow? Can? Any questions there? Okay, next question is asked you what? Well, calculate the IRR, MIRR for process omega. Given the IRR and MIRR is 26, 26 and 23, recommend which process you should explore. Okay, you better do one rate at what? Part B, right? %, eh? What's the other percentage you should be using? Let's say, since you already know it could be very, very high. How much? 16, no, I'll try 30%. Are you okay? For 30% in your this one, right? Let's use simple numbers like that. What do you get? Calculate now. So use the table, 0.885, 0.783, 0. Next one is are you okay so far? Can? 30%, have we got the numbers ready now? What do you get? 769, next one. 592. 35, Have you got the NPV ready? Copy my formula from the top here. There's my formula. Okay, are you done? What do you get?
1079.
What's your IRR? 27 point? Can you get 27.9%? Yes, no? MIRR? Okay, do you know how to calculate MIRR now? PV of the investment phase is how much? PV of the return phase is going to be based on what you got here, plus back the 3008. What do you got? I think you should get 5290, correct? No, 290. Okay, all of you got these two numbers? Yes, no? By the way, IRR, you all okay now? Can you get 27.9? I mean, I'll just get it done for you, just in case. By the way, can you give me the number here? How much is this? How much is this number here? NPV? 1490. Here is? Negative, right? 20. Got it? Clear? Not clear? Make sense? Okay, that covers this one. And this one, if you did this correctly, you should get MIRR of, I think so. Let me see whether I can make sure I can get your same number. It's going to be 5290 divided by 3800. Square root 0.25 times 1.13 minus 1 equals. Are we okay? Answer. Okay, done. Question asks you to do what? Recommend which process, if any, Tisa should proceed. Explain your recommendation. Which one should we go for? MIRR, IRR of this one is 26.6, whereas process zeta is 23.3. Which one is better? Hello. So IRR assumes that project cash flow is invested in done. Clear? Now, we go to C. C1 asks you what? VAR. Have you estimated the VAR? 1 year VAR and then project life cycle VAR, yes or no? What do you get? Well, you know the number to use for 99%. What's the number? So I better memorize and keep in your head. What's the number? 99% confidence level, what's the number to use? 2.33 lah. 2.33 times 800,000. Done. What am I getting here? The number I should get is 1,864,000. Got it? This is going to be 2.33 times 800,000. I'll just put 800 lah. Times how many years project? 5 years. Square root 0.5. Oh, 1680. How much? Okay, done. 2 marks, huh? But you still have to interpret it. Got it? So what does this mean? Second part, meaning. I clear, no? Does that make sense? Well, over the 5 years, it's going to be 11 million, right? Minus get it? That's the meaning of it. Okay? Okay. The last part, alternative methods. This is part 2. What are alternative methods to manage with risk? Expected values can be useful to deal with uncertainty, but it is not valid for one of deal with uncertainty using what? Sensitivity analysis. All variables are interdependent. Does that make sense? Okay, those are all the techniques you could have talked about. You could talk about simulation, you could talk about payback, you could talk about sensitivity analysis, you could talk about, first one was expected values, got it? All these are alternative method on top of VAR, value at risk, clear?